This is a fairly new activity for us. We ran the Coller competition for the first time exactly a year ago. And after that, we created the Coller Ignite Club. And so we're here to talk about the competition. But in general, just to say, we're here to actually get more familiar with the Coller School of Management. We care about entrepreneurship and innovation. It became one of the main directions today that the school has taken. So we already heard about two different things that we're doing about this area. I'll present myself. So I'm Dr. Ginzburg. I'm the head of two MBA programs at the school. These two MBA programs focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. One is a global MBA program that runs for 1 year. And I can see quite a few of my students here. So that's the global Sofer MBA program. The other one is the Israeli program, as we call it, which runs for 2 years. It's an MBA that focuses specifically on technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I can see some of my students here too. So that's what I do here. I'm part of the Coller competition team, together with Eyal Binyamin, who's sitting here. And basically, I want to give some information about the competition. So let me start with very specific things. As I said, we started this competition just last year for the first time. We're changing some things to actually run better. One thing that is shared also from last year and this year is that the one team that wins the competition can get an investment of $100,000, okay, which is quite amazing. I don't know if a lot of other competitions, especially in Israel, that give such a prize in the end. So this would be for the winning team. All of the competition basically is not just to get one team out there with this investment, but basically to encourage people to apply, to encourage people to go into a process of creating concepts and then working on the concepts and getting the concepts ready and more right, basically, both to be presented and maybe to also get investment. Okay, so the competition is there to encourage many more activities, not just to give the final amount of money. The final amount of money is invested by Jeremy Coller. The school now is called, it's a Coller School. Jeremy Coller basically donated $50 million to the school. And that's going to be his investment in the startup. That will happen last year. And I can also say to those who are worried about that, you get the investment, you get your first investor. But if later on you're worried about having an investor that might not fit the next rounds, he's going to get out of that, okay? So it's actually really built properly. So we're here with the first information session. The actual competition is going to take place on June 6th, as you can see there. There are some stages, and I'll describe them. The stages that happened before. I'll describe how we actually run this process of choosing who gets to the final round and so forth, and who's eligible to participate. In the end, on June 6th, there'll be 10 teams that could present their venture or the concept. 5 of them will actually be on stage. Okay, so 5 of them get to do the final pitch, and there'll be rules for the pitch and everything, and mentorship and whatever before that. So let me describe how it's going to work. Okay, basically, okay. So who's eligible to apply to the competition? Well, you could all apply, but then we might rule you out. Okay, so who's eligible to apply? First of all, let me say that I don't know if some people here have an idea and they want to run this idea completely by their own. We don't recommend that you do a venture, okay, just a one-person venture, but you can apply, okay? We want the teams to be somewhat related to the school. So how do we do that? Each team has to have at least one member, okay, who is either an active student, okay, at the university, not just the school, and that person has to have at least 10%. That is, if you want to trick us, okay, so we're prepared for that. So you need to have one member who has at least 10% in the venture that you have. By the way, the venture does not have to be a listed company. Okay, it can be your own agreement with the founders. And it can also be an alumni, a graduate of the university in the last 5 years, right? 3 years, sorry, the last 3 years. So basically, there has to be some connection. Now, I can tell you last year, we got people to apply for the competition from all over the world, and they were kind of trying to hunt someone to be there So basically, there is a local component, okay? It has to be connected to the university. As we said, and we'll show you more information, there's a lot of guidance also through the website. We recommend that by the time that you apply, you have a working prototype, okay? You have something you can show at the level of an MVP, minimum viable product. But basically what we're saying is, in other words, just an idea. And some people have described today to me an idea that they can describe in, say, 60 seconds. Just an idea. You can apply. That's not going to get you anywhere, okay? You need to have much more than that. You need to have a concept that's well-defined, an MVP, a prototype, and a pitch, a presentation, okay? We're going to need all these documents, basically, and maybe a video to decide, okay, if you go to the stage, like the final stage, well, we'll actually choose 10 teams out of all the applicants. You need to have a maximum investment so far in your venture of 250,000 shekels. Why do we put this number there? Looking for ventures that are fairly early stage. This is pretty much what it would cost you if you had a patent and you want to get that patent properly filed and listed. Okay, so you could also have this investment in other things, but basically we do not want startups that are much more advanced than that. Okay, so there's a cap there on the amount of money that you could have invested, that you could get as an investment. So this is who's eligible to apply. Any questions about that? Yes.
3-year part.
Yeah. That would be pretty strict because we have to draw the line somewhere. As you heard in the beginning, I was wrong. I said 5, so we decided to draw the line at 3. So that's going to be fairly strict. Even though it's Israel, it's going to be fairly strict. Yeah, yeah.
Is this open to the study abroad kids, the TAU International?
I'm sorry?
Is this also open to the TAU International study abroad program?
Is this open to the TAU International students?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. Okay. Yes, another question. I'll take one from, yes.
How many teams joined or applied last year?
Yeah, last year there were about, I think, 60 teams that applied, out of which we chose 10. The process was a little different. There was basically a process of you have to apply by a certain date, and then there's a bunch of judges, and we look at all the applications, and then out of them we decide who would be the top 10. And the top 10 get an announcement that they're in the top 10, and then the top 10 go through a process of mentorship and learning how to pitch, and then we select from the 10 the best 5 who would go on stage, and the other 5 get to present their concept, but it's going to be more like a poster session. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. So basically, those who would get the exposure are the top 10 teams that we select after you apply. Okay. Yes.
Coller is the investor, but
yeah.
He doesn't get equity for the investment.
He actually gets equity for the investment. So last year we called it the $1 million startup competition because it's going to be an investment of $100,000 with a valuation of $100 million. Of $1 million, sorry. Sorry. He gets 10%. Yeah. He gets 10%, but that's convertibles. Okay, so if you get an additional investment, he will not hold you back.
Dilutes it?
I'm sorry?
Does that mean it dilutes the 10% if you get an additional investment?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
When you say convertible?
It means that if you have other investment further on and they say, we don't want this angel investor.
Right.
If you look at this amount of investment, it's like an angel investment,
right.
Okay? And sometimes they can say, it messes up our cap table. So we'll say, that's fine. I don't have to be there. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So how to submit? You want to take a picture of this. You also want to get to the Coller Ignite website. There is information. There's also information at the Coller competition itself. There's a web page. So you want to go there. Come on, this is like internet days. Okay, so just put the Coller competition. You get to our website, and then you can apply. One change we did from last year is that you can open the application, and it can be open, and you can work on that until you decide to submit it, okay? Because last year, you had to apply and submit, and that was it. So it was bad for everybody. It was bad for us because we didn't have a clue until the last day who's actually applying. It was not good for you because you had to wait for the last minute, most of you, and then you had to apply. So now you can, there's a process, okay? You can open the application, and I can tell you, the sooner you open an application, it's actually better for you and for us, because then we start some kind of a dialogue, okay? So if you want to apply, open this application and then fill it up, and you have the time to do that until the deadline. Here are the things you would need to submit, okay? Executive summary, yes, you cannot move today without an executive summary. A pitch deck, okay? The founder CVs are always one of the most important things, okay? So we need that, and a team video, okay? The idea is we want to see the team, we want to see how you come out together, and how does it look, and additional documents. I actually strongly recommend that you submit the additional documents as well, okay? And if you have more questions about the specific documents, there will be a mentorship session and information session. I'll give that in a second. But basically, you want to submit all these. And that says, okay, that says a prototype, okay, or a demo of some sort that we can see. By the way, you can do that just with like a deck, okay, a deck of slides. It doesn't have to be a video, for example. If you have a traction summary, okay, who was engaged already in what you suggest to do, what evidence you have that this might work, that someone might want to have that. The Lean Canvas, if you don't, okay, who here doesn't know what Lean Canvas is? Okay, so you have homework to do, okay? Just look up Lean Canvas or the business model canvas, okay? And that's a paradigm by which you actually analyze your venture, and it has some boxes there, and then in each one it actually guides you on the things you have to do and you have to search and you have to look at. It's actually a guideline to how to build your venture, okay? So basically the things you're asking here are things that are useful for you if you want to build your concept into a true venture, okay? So nothing here is just for the sake of like a bureaucracy. All these things you really want to do, okay? So that's a submission. So the judges, as I said, okay, so there's a panel of judges. There would be a panel of judges in the final event, which is June 6th. There's going to be another group of judges. Some of them are the same. Some of them are additional judges in the intermediary judgment session, in which we decide who would be the top 10. Okay, so we have the judges. We'll advertise the names quite soon. Okay, we're working on that, but they're quite respectable. And as I said, okay, so you have to submit it. We will look at what you submitted. One more thing we will do, and believe me, that's a lot of work, but I think it's valuable. We will give feedback to every team. Okay, so if you submit, you will not just get a feedback of like, you know, you're at the bottom, whatever, but we'll give you some specific information about what we think about your concept and venture, what we think you have to do more. Those would be the top 10, okay? They will get more than just this feedback, okay? They will get mentorship and additional coaching, okay? So yeah, you can see that. That's on the website also, okay? But these would be the criteria by which we judge. There's nothing that is really new here, okay? We care about the team quality. Everybody cares about the team quality. You know why we care about the team quality? Why? Because you have a concept today. The chances this is really what you will have in half a year after that are small. So the team has to be strong and very agile, okay? This is what we'll be looking for. Teams that have previous work experience together, of course, they get more points there. We care about the opportunity and the potential market size. It means, for example, that if you have a great idea for something that has a very, very small market, for example, like you wanna develop, say, you want to develop a medicine for a very rare disease, okay? Suppose you have something to do with that. So it's a very rare disease. Maybe it has a tiny market. So then it will not score highly on the market size, but still it has a chance. Okay? Why? Because you can score highly on the other things that we have there. Okay? Unique value proposition, you see it's 10%. The business model, the innovation and or quality of technology. Okay? We don't want to see, okay, suppose you open today, you open a shop, in Amazon or eBay and you sell something like you sell coats, okay? So that's a new business. Maybe you can make a lot of money. Would you get a lot of points here? Not exactly, okay? Because be careful for things that might be bigger ventures. And the presentation quality and skills, we care about that as well. These are all the criteria, okay, that we judge. We will give the top 10 teams, we will give them a lot of help on all of these aspects, okay? So that we'd get more information there and could learn more. The award, as I said, okay, I described it. Actually, yes, you can get the investment, or you can say, I do not want this investment. I want $5,000 in cash, okay? I can get a lot of coffee for that or something. I don't believe anyone's going to go for this option, but that's an option, okay? And by the way, in addition, what you get the exposure, okay? The competition gets exposure. The team that wins the competition, okay, it'd be in the papers, and so there's media exposure, which is also worth something. But I believe it's really worth getting the investment. Here are the dates, okay, and they'll also be okay on the website. But basically, what I want to say is that we have the session today, and you have to. You have the session today, and if you really, okay, if you have something today that's a level of an idea, and you want to get a serious shot at the competition, you have to start working on that really hard today. Okay, why? Because if you just have a direction or an idea, there's so much work to be done. You need to understand the need. You need to actually work out the market. You need to do so many things. So if you don't have anything, just an idea, I'm not saying it's not possible, but you want to start working right away, and you want to go and meet Eyal, and the first time that you can, to get some guidance in order for you to actually move forward. So here you can see the dates. It's going to be a pitching session and office hours, okay, and then the deadline for submission. And then from May 1 to May 9, that's a time for us, the judges, to actually choose who are the top 10. Top 10 gets mentoring sessions. And then on June 6, we have the final event with the finalists. Okay, that's and this is just some information about the final events, and I already said that. Basically, top 10 teams, the 5 top ones would present on stage. One of the 5 top would get the award. Okay, and we will know that as we work with the teams, and we give them the coaching sessions. And that's actually it. Questions, more information, I can answer now. Eyal is going to be here, stay here longer. I might not stay here that long. I have some constraints. Yeah, yes.
What about issues of confidentiality?
So, okay, we do not sign an NDA, but you can assume it's confidential. So
it's considered a protected environment?
I'm sorry?
Environment?
Yeah. It's considered to be a protected environment. I can tell you I already got some questions from potential investors, for example, who would like to get information about more than just the 10 finalists. And I said, this is really great. We will be glad to provide this information, of course, with your permission. Okay, so basically the competition is getting out there, and there would be investors that might want to get information about more than just the top 10 finalists. Okay. One more thing I can say, we have 2 immersion programs where we send teams to the States this year. We send them to California and Chicago for 2.5 weeks. It may be that some of the finalists might get a chance to go to those immersions as well. Last year we had a team from the Coller competition. Actually, the finalists, the winner of last year was in the immersion a year before. But one of the teams in the Coller competition, and not the top 10, actually got to go to the immersion. Why? Because we saw the quality. They did not really qualify in terms of criteria, okay, to be at the top 10, but eventually we send them to the immersion. Okay, so it's getting there. It's actually becoming part of the whole ecosystem of the Coller School of Management. Okay, so of Coller Ignite and other activities that we have. Questions? Yeah.
What exactly is the pitching session on March 25th?
You do the pitching session?
Pitching
Okay.
is about how to perfectionize and how to get your pitch a little better than it is.
It's basic practice, right?
It's the first part is theory. What is a good pitch? How to do one? How to outstand in the crowd. But the second, if you guys would like to pitch and get some feedback, would be most welcome.
Okay. So thank you.